Boneworks is a VR physics-based puzzle slash action game and is one of, if not my favorite games. In the game, you're playing as Arthur Ford, who is a double agent working at Monogon for a rival company called Gammon, and you're trying to get into the Void through Monogon's new VR city called MythOS City. The Void is another plane of existence that exists beyond space and time, which means that if you enter it, you can become immortal and exist at any time, anywhere, and as anything. MythOS City is a space inside of the Void that people can go to through VR headsets. Arthur's ultimate goal is to get into the Void and become immortal. It is believed that Arthur is also the main character of the prequel to Boneworks called Duck Season. In Duck Season, you play as a kid who rents a game cartridge called Duck Season. This would be the status quo because it's just the normal world for Arthur as a child. Kid Arthur plays Duck Season on his Gammon-branded console, but he keeps getting teleported into the game, and the dog mascot keeps appearing in Arthur's house between levels. After one of the levels, Arthur finds his mom dead on the kitchen floor because of the dog. The dog killing Arthur's mother would also be supernatural aid because the dog is an immortal being from the Void that can exist anywhere in the game or real life. After the murder of his mother, and after the dog is defeated, Arthur decides to run away from home. It is believed that Arthur then becomes an employee at Monogon, but is actually a double agent working for the rival company Gammon. Arthur plugs a USB drive into the MythOS servers, which stops the time tower and doesn't let anyone into Myth but him, and gives him a window of time to break into the Void. First, Arthur meets the Null Bodies, which are usually used as laborers in the city, but turn against him probably because of the security for Monogon, Saber Lake. Next, he meets Hayes M, who talks to Arthur through a screen and acts as a sort of mentor, leading him through his travels. Arthur also meets zombies, crablets, and omniprojectors, all of which turn against him. Finally, he meets Allura B, who is also talking through a screen and begs Arthur to leave a path into the Void for her and other employees of Monogon, but Arthur ignores her.
You're heading to the tower to reset. I've been obsessing over the possibility for weeks, and you acted on it first. I couldn't let you think you were the only one who saw it. Just leave a way for others to get in. That's all I'm asking for our contributions. Leave a way in.
Arthur makes his way through the streets, the runoff, sewers, the train station, and the warehouse before he finally gets to the base of the tower. Arthur makes his way through the longest level, the tower. After a fairly long journey up to the top of the tower, he takes an elevator up to the time part of the tower. Arthur fights through a horde of enemies while also trying to reset the time tower by launching the power cores into the main contraption. Arthur resets the time tower, which brings him to a corridor that has a door at the end saying "Welcome home." When he goes through the door, it brings him to the entrance of the Void. He jumps down and becomes immortal in the Void. When Arthur enters the Void, he awakes in a medieval dungeon cell with an exact clone of himself standing outside. He makes it out of the cell and meets more of himself. When he exits the dungeon, he is brought out to an arena in which he meets the king.
Welcome! Prove your strength to earn an audience with the king.
He battles through the arena and makes it to the castle. He goes inside and fistfights the king, which unlocks doors to the rest of the castle, which leads back to a futuristic/industrial place like before. He again meets Allura B, who holds up the gaming USB and shakes her head, signifying that she knows about Arthur being a double agent. Next, Arthur goes down into a hole in the ground and climbs a giant tower up until he gets to a room with a screen that shows him getting killed in real life, but it doesn't matter because he's in the void. It is believed that Arthur goes back in time to become the dog that kills his mother. He might have done this to get himself to want to enter the void. Arthur now exists in the void for eternity and can be anything at any place at any time, in any plane of existence. He is also now trapped in an infinite cycle of the events that have unfolded in his life. Who knows what he will do with the infinite amount of time and power he holds. Omniprojectors, nullbodies, and zombies would be henchmen for Saberlake. Haze M would be a mentor / a martyr for Arthur. He'd be a martyr because gunshots are heard in his building when Arthur makes it into the void. Arthur Ford would be a protagonist. He's not a hero, but he is the main character. Alora B would be an antagonist / an anti-hero. She's an antagonist to Arthur, but Arthur isn't the good guy.